I tell Hotep something important. Whenever you act like Christianity was forced on slaves, you actually continue to promote white supremacy. Because you promote white supremacy to say that slaves were stupid enough not to know the difference between biblical Christianity and white man religion Christianity. Okay, so let's move. Look at the next slide, because I got some quotables in here. Look at what he says. It says, this is why they didn't want us to read. That's why Jesus wasn't beat into our ancestors. Never. There is not a documented beating where we were beaten, where Christianity was beat into us. Not a document. I asked them to provide a source. The Nat Turner revolt made them teach in a very limited way. So prior to the Nat Turner revolt, family, they would not teach us Christianity because they were afraid we would understand the gospel and we would get up in Exodus. They didn't want us. They knew that if you teach these Negroes, if you let them learn how to read and learn the Bible and them to think with them for themselves with the power of the Holy Spirit and a regenerated soul, that God would actually teach them clearly what the Bible was about, which shows you they were anti-evangelistic towards us in the beginning because the gospel in their mind, they are even the slave owners who promoted their biblical theology of us being in slavery knew that if we got the Bible, we'd be able, even as slaves, to debunk their ideology within slavery. So when we look at this, we talk about Nat Turner revolt and teach them in a very limited way because Nat Turner got out and killed some folk. He said, my theology says kill the white man. And it scared the daylights out of them. So guess what they said? We need to figure out a way to teach the black people before they start lighting us up, right? So read also the church, I already got that in there, C. Eric Lincoln's book, right? But look at this. I told them to read that. So this is a quote. Slaveholders feared, this is from the book I just talked about, feared that Christianity would make their slaves not only proud, but ungovernable and rebellious. This is what they believed. So we need to do more research. I told them, I said, also Frederick Douglass could tell the difference between white supremacy-infused Christianity and biblical historical Christianity. Look at what Frederick Douglass says. Look at what Frederick Douglass says. He says, I mean strictly to apply to the slaveholding religion of this land and with no possible reference to Christianity proper, for between the Christianity of this land and the Christianity of Christ, I recognize the wildest possible difference. Stop! He just learned how to read, and his reading comprehension skills were on steroids enough to be able to tell the difference. It's a beautiful thing what he's saying, right? Look what he says. He says so wide, talking about the difference, that to receive the one as good, pure, and holy is of necessity to reject the other as bad, corrupt, and wicked. To be the friend of the one is of necessity to be the enemy of the other. He said, I love the pure, peaceable, and impartial Christianity of Christ. What does that mean? He understood what Christianity was. What was he? He was a slave that was illiterate and got taught literacy by one of his slave owner's sons. He says, I therefore hate the corrupt slaveholding, women whipping, cradle plundering, partial and hypocritical Christianity of this land. That's beautiful. In other words, he's able to, now we understand that slaves were intellectuals. Salah that. So when you talk to these people that say that Christianity was the white man's religion, slaves were able to beautifully tell the difference between the white man's imperialistic, Western, cultural, racist Christianity and biblical Christianity. That's the beauty of this, is that we believe that slaves could think, even in the midst of comprehensive illiteracy that they were experiencing within the framework of the slave period.